So good morning everyone, I'm here today at Glastonbury Abbey with Janet Bell, the director of Glastonbury Abbey, and she's going to talk us through the exciting new developments as part of the Glastonbury Town deal. So Janet, just describe to the viewers what we can expect in the next couple of years, be the transformation that's going to happen in Glastonbury Abbey entrance.
Well, the whole of the area that we're standing in is going to be completely re-landscaped so that it reflects and celebrates the medieval routeway into the Abbey. And this building behind us will be demolished to open up the view of St Patrick's Chapel so that you'll be able to see it from the main entrance. And the shop that we have over there will become a shop and cafe, and the whole of that frontage will be reglazed with beautiful etching of the 12th century cloister. So it will look like an abbey when you actually arrive, because at the moment a lot of people come and don't really know what they're coming into. So it doesn't sound a huge amount, but it'll be a good 8 to 9 months amount of work, and it will create a whole new area here, the piazza, which will be open access to the public, and they'll be able to use this area for free and go into St Patrick's Chapel and the courtyard.
Because that's a significant change, isn't it? You're essentially keeping St Patrick's Abbey, so St Patrick's Chapel is before the paywall in a sense,
Yes.
So it makes it available during the opening hours to anybody for worship or solace or just a little bit of quiet meditation or something.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And the garden of the courtyard around it. So all that will be free access.
Now your plan is to finish this, have it ready for public enjoyment by mid next year, is that right, 2024?
We're looking at the beginning of July, just before the main visitor season.
Yes.
For us to relaunch and open.
And you've been through quite a tortuous list of requests for bat permissions and biodiversity checks and tree checking, and you've passed all those, so essentially it's all been green lit now, has it?
We've got all our permissions. We've got planning permission, schedule monuments, consent, our bat licence. So yes, we're ready to go. We're just finalising the technical details before we go out to contract to get the right builders to do the job.
Thank you. And do you want to just show us around what the changes will actually look like?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Janet, we're standing in front of the existing Abbey shop. What changes can the visitor expect to see next year?
So the shop inside will stay essentially the same in terms of the building. We're extending at the back to include new visitor toilets, which will be indoors, and a new office and storerooms. And inside we'll have a new shop in one half and a grab-and-go cafe in the other half. And the frontage will be reglazed with etching of the medieval cloister on the windows.
So it'll echo the design of the original medieval cloister in the Abbey.
So that people understand that this is a medieval ecclesiastical site. All these changes in level will be sorted out, and there'll be wide sort of stone steps and a slope so that access is very much improved, so we get away with the narrow steps, and that will also provide areas for people to sit. And then we'll have the open piazza, the building that we're looking at over there, that old shed.
I remember that when that was in the Abbey shop.
Yes.
And the gatehouse, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, well that will be demolished.
Okay.
And this wall demolished and moved to go behind where that stands now. So all that will be an open area. That's what we're calling at the moment the piazza area. So it creates a much bigger area for the public to use. We'll have seating out there for the cafe, so people can use this. It'll be an extension of the high street where people can sit and enjoy the space. And we'll have events here throughout the year.
Fantastic. When you mean events, you mean what, like artistic events or musical events or something that draws people in?
That draws people in, and those will be free.
Yeah.
Obviously, to complement the events programme that we have within.
But for me, one of the most exciting developments is that when you look up from Magdalen Street, you see Patrick's Chapel, St Patrick's Chapel.
Absolutely.
And it's a much more magnetic sort of draw than a facade of an entrance, isn't it? So you're taking the entrance out and moving it to the right.
Yeah. So
makes it a more appealing
so
way to come up.
For the first time, people will see as they walk up the re-landscaped entranceway, they will actually see a medieval building as opposed to a 1980s.
Yeah. So I don't know what the average footfall is. It how many people do you get through the Abbey, including for events as well? But
at the moment, around 150 to 160,000.
gosh, that's substantial. Yes.
So we are recovering
Yes.
from COVID.
Yes.
But again, one of the drivers for this project was to increase visitors both to the town and to the Abbey, to help us move forward and grow again, because before COVID, of course, we had many more international visitors.
Yes, of course.
And, although they're coming back slowly, nowhere near the same numbers as we had.
And have you had any particular visitor requests, or is it something that's been driven by the internal Abbey sort of management team, the change of, you know, landscaping and facilities?
It's largely been driven by the Abbey management and trustees. We've had plans to improve the site for many years, but what we have noticed is that people walking past the entrance look up and walk past because they don't realise what's here. And of course we have 36 acres of grounds in there, and people have no concept, just passing on the street, what is behind the walls.
It's hiding in plain sight, isn't it, really?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes, okay, thank you very much. Do you want to just take us through to the changes that we'll see from this angle here with the Abbey in the background? So the entrance will move slightly to the right, but you'll still be able to see the Lady Chapel, won't you?
Yes, so we're not building anything else up there. In fact, we're moving all this, so you can get a clearer view. But the ticket office, this building, as I said before, we're taking down, will move into the current museum. So that blank wall there will again have windows and doors to reflect the facade on the shop that we're going to create. So it looks much more like a cloister. So there'll be those cloister arcades on each side. So that will become the main entrance.
So you will lose a little bit of museum display space, won't you? Or interpretive display space for
Well,
visitors?
actually, we won't lose interpretive display space because the area we're using is the area that most people going through this ticket office go through anyway to go out into the grounds.
Yeah.
We're going to be creating a sort of one-way system so that people go in that way and go out into the grounds from that ticket office, but they'll come back out behind St Patrick's Chapel and out through the courtyard into this space, and hopefully through the shop.
Yes, of course, or at least through the cafe anyway. Yeah. Do you want to just go and show us the Abbey? Sorry, the St Patrick's Chapel as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So Janet, we're in front of the main Abbey entrance now, going into the beautiful grounds. This is where you're going to relocate the ticket office and the entrance, certainly the formal entrance.
Absolutely.
So how will that work in terms of the existing sort of ergonomics of this space?
So people will come in more whereabouts we're standing now, through what is a wall at the moment. They'll come in here, there'll be a reception desk opposite
Behind
here,
us, yeah.
and there'll be a wall sealing off the museum from the ticket office, and then in that space there will be doorways into the museum, and then people will go out into the grounds in the normal way, and we'll be doing a little bit of landscaping out there to echo what we're doing out on the piazza area. And we're also installing new toilets into the back of the museum so that we can use them, visitors can use them during the project, but also we'll have a new facility.
So you'll have two sets now. You'll have the one
two sets
behind the cafe and the shop, and then one within the museum. Yes, fantastic. So Janet, you've got a very clear biodiversity plan for not just the existing plant design, but actually what you're going to bring in as part of the new design as well.
Yeah.
Can you just talk us through that, how it's going to change the landscaping of the Abbey grounds around the entrance?
Absolutely. So as we've already discussed, people will be going out this way, but they'll also have free access into this area. And this courtyard will be re-landscaped and replanted to enhance St Patrick's Chapel. The toilet block, which is very inadequate, will be demolished, and we're trying not to disturb the rare bats that we have on site.
You've had a bat census done, have you?
We've had a whole survey done, and there's a particular long-eared grey bat, I think it is, who lives in the gatehouse. So we've got to make sure that we don't disturb the flight path and the foraging for the bats. So in terms of planting, the landscape designer is looking at what will be the best plants, not only in terms of future sustainability from a climatic point of view, but also what will feed the bats.
And the bees.
And the bees, and the pollinators. So we're taking all that into account, and also very, very much looking at water management to reduce the need for watering, so that the plants will survive without too much maintenance.
Yeah, in a rapidly changing climate.
Yeah. But the great thing about the project is not only will, of course, we will extend the back of the shop here to create new facilities both for the public and the staff serving in the shop and cafe. But by demolishing that toilet block, you will see the north wall, which is actually the oldest building left on the site, which dates to the late 11th, early 12th century, we think, and was part of a massive hostelry, or hostry they used to call it, for pilgrims visiting the site. So it was an enormous building that stretched right down to the back of the gatehouse to the
car park,
access to the car park at Silver Street, which would have housed many
hundreds. Pilgrims. Yes. And was there a slipper chapel attached to that, so people could change to go into the abbey, the sort of hallowed grounds of the abbey?
We're not sure, but what, of course, we do know is that St Patrick's Chapel here, which we want to increase access to for the public, served a number of almshouses that were built in the 15th, 16th centuries, which were over against the north wall. Of course, they've long gone, but the chapel remains.
Yeah.
So what we're really trying to do is enhance this enclosure area, original enclosure area of the abbey, because of course the abbey would have had lots of enclosures with different things going on, and we call this the northwest enclosure.
The northwest enclosure,
where people were coming in from outside to visit the abbey.
Yes. Because legend is that St Patrick was buried in the abbey, wasn't he? And this chapel was built in 1517, I think it was, wasn't it? It took 5 years to build it. And it's one of my favourite parts of the abbey because it's such a sanctuary, isn't it? And the fact that you're making it open to everybody during, daylight hours, so to speak, makes it a wonderful resource for people to contemplate and prayer and, recover their their experiences, or just renew themselves spiritually, isn't it?
And we hope people will continue to use it in that way. And then the other part of the piazza will be more for refreshment and entertainment and enjoying the open space. But we'd like to keep this area sort of quieter and more meditative.
Yes. So Janet, thank you for showing us around. Thank you for taking the time in your busy schedule. The project is on course now. You've got all the permissions green lit. You've got your target is to finish in probably July 2024. What contribution or support could you have from the wider community in terms of volunteering or awareness raising or engaging with letting people know about the new Abbey entrance?
Well, you've just said that obviously when it's done, we'd love the community to get out there and tell people about it, because we want people to come and look at it and visit the Abbey. But during the project, we'll have quite a number of activities going on, all of which will be free. And we'd like people to sign up for things like replanting when it comes to finishing the landscaping. There'll be archaeology open days so that people can see what if anything has been found when we demolish some of the buildings. And it's just about keeping in touch really with what's happening.
So if somebody wants to help with the replanting, they could go to the Abbey entrance and give their name or say that I'm happy to volunteer.
Yeah, we'll put out a call for volunteers. So it's a case of keeping an eye on our website, because obviously there'll be a certain number of places to be involved. So yes, we've got lots of courses going on and archaeology workshops. So just keep an eye on the website and we'll advertise them.
Thank you. Well, thanks very much to Janet for her time. And we look forward to seeing its development over the next 12 months.